everybody? Today we're going to be breaking down some websites with my man, Chase from heatmap.com and so many other things. Hey, Chase, welcome, buddy. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Thank you for having me. Really excited to dig into this stuff and share some of the stuff. Our CEO at Heatmap is the king of CRO, but I am the Duke of CRO, and Dukes are still in the royal line. So let's do this.
I love it, man. Hey, look, everybody needs a Duke of Earl, right? I never heard about the King of Earl, you know what I mean? So I love it, dude. Let's break it down, man. If you want to share your screen and just let's tear this thing down. And I'll just ask some questions as when you're done as like somebody that as a performance marketer, I not good at UX, UI, graphic design, customer journeys. Like I am terrible at all of this stuff. So what you all do is basically wizardry to me. It feels like I know that like you make a chocolate cake with like eggs and like milk and butter and like powder and stuff. But I see it as the things in the fridge and then I turn around like I'm like a bad magician and then boom, chocolate cake. I have no idea what happens. So I love it, dude. Break it down for me. What do we got here?
Yeah, 100%. What I'm going to do here is talk about this. Why did I leave this pop-up? This came in after 3 seconds. And so there's this kind of standard way that people, this is the first thing, standard way people look at pop-ups. I don't really love the pop-up upon arrival. Like people haven't done anything. They haven't had any sort of interaction with you. They haven't shown any intent to do anything. And you're saying, hey, unlock 15% on your order. Like they don't have anything. You're expecting them to like just do it because they've done anything. So my first one is I would generally go with a 25 to 30% scroll depth pop-up so that there's some sort of intent around that so that they're going to do that. Now, conventional wisdom is you pop them here because it has the most visibility on it. What I would ask people is like, how much are you actually getting click through? You should experiment with, should it be a scroll depth one or a timed one at that 3 seconds? Because that popped up really quickly. All right, next thing. All right, so we have our hero image here. So I guess what I would say is, why I like this is it's very clear what you're shopping for. It's the holidays, right? For anyone who's just seeing this, the Bravo Sierra holiday store is here. Okay, Bravo Sierra is the brand. It is re-insulating this. The holiday store is here. Okay, shop now. This is going to go to a holiday store collections page. And so the one thing I'm really passionate about is when you have a holiday or some sort of collection, you want to make sure that it has a separate page so that you can run traffic to that because, for instance, AOVs are going to be higher because you have bundles in there, etc. The other thing I think is really important is even though this is a studio shot and it's pretty, they at least do a few things to hint that there's a holiday, right? It has a little bit of pine, has a little pine cone, and essentially they have created a little bundle that is all of the same color. So it feels, okay, this is the citrus and cedarwood bundle. So what am I saying here? I'm talking about messaging and image cohesion. Right? So you want to make sure everything is cohesive. If I was running an ad or you were running an ad, Charlie, what kind of creative would you use to run towards this page and this hero image?
My creative thinking after having enough shots with Fraser these last couple months, like part of me's thinking like I'd be definitely playing on the holiday theme. I would also be taking these actual products, right? And showing like some use case of it so that like when I'm landing on here, I'm expecting to see one of these things. And whether it's the cologne, the deodorant, the soap, like if I see one or two of those and I land on this, it's a cohesive experience. And that's my initial read on this. So if I clicked on those ads, I'd land on this page and it would be a cohesive thing like you're talking about.
100%. And so this is why I'm bringing it back to this is generally most of the traffic going to websites is coming from some sort of paid traffic source. Even if that's email or SMS, that is still paid traffic source because you have to pay for the sends, right? Like no matter what anyone says, you own your list. It's more efficient in terms of cost, but it's still a paid traffic source. You want those things to all feel like they have a cohesion of story so that the customer doesn't have to think. So there's this whole alligator brain versus the judge, right? You've heard the alligator and the judge. 95% of all things that we do is generally based on emotional reaction. And 5% is when we start thinking about the logic of something. And so you want to think about it. At what points are there chinks in the armor that could make people start thinking? One of them is transition from ad to landing page, right? The cohesion of the story, the image, the products, right? Because then you're going to get them into the story of everything and the offer and all of those things. But first, you have to make them feel like they have just landed in there and the brand or the company has a really cohesive story so that they feel comfortable moving really fast through the process. So this is the first thing. So I really dig this, and it's simple. Like anyone can do it, which is one of the reasons I like this example. So I'm going to go through a couple things before we scroll. One thing I wanted to call out here I think is really fun is, I was just talking shit about this unlock 15% at right away. What they've done is pretty brilliant, which they have left it in here, not where a chat would be, which is generally in the bottom right corner, but in the bottom left corner. You generally don't see this. And I think why this is they've optimized this page enough to see that people click out of that regularly, but people still want to use it. This is now part of my scrolling experience, right? It's going to stay here. It is persistent, as you see, all the way down the page, right? So really dig this. Okay. Next thing, let's go to the navigation bar and the header. So one thing I just call out here, I would be interested in what offers they have run here. And if this is like a holiday specific, they want people to know what they're going to be receiving during the holidays, because this is one of the only places, especially, can we inspect this and go to mobile? Yeah, let's go to check this out in mobile. This is the first thing that people see, and it's going to be the thing that has essentially 100% completely viewership. So this is wasted real estate in terms of an actual sales process. Yeah, you have this down here, but you're first going to look here and then bring your eyes down. If you can see the way I'm drawing my cursor, we usually read right to left and then left to like this, or we look at a screen. So this has no hyperlink. It has no offer. It has nothing that is, I don't want to say a value, but is going to impact anything, because free shipping and free returns is table stakes at this point.
If you don't have free shipping and returns, like, I'm not buying anyway. That's just a standard operating procedure.
Exactly. So that's my first call out here. I think one thing you'll see, so we'll click shop all. So they have shop all body, face, shave, hair, cologne. So what I think is really fascinating about this is they've gone here with products, and they've gone here with like body parts and use cases, right? And so I think this is really fascinating, because they've found that this is a quick way. And again, I'm making a lot of inferences right now, but this is a quick way for people to get to deodorant, because this is their hero product. By the way, I shop with Bravo Sierra, so I know that this is their hero product, but also they have a bunch of stuff for the body. They have a bunch of stuff for shaving, for hair. So they're essentially allowing you to understand what the use cases are. It's interesting that they don't do smell here, because cologne. Anyway.
So yeah, it would match with that. Like,
you see what I'm saying here. And then they've added this holiday store, which is what was here in the shop now button as well, just to keep the ability to have two places for people to interact with this. So that's the first part before we scroll down past this above the fold section. What I would say big time is this. They have a search nav here, making sure people know that they can search for things. They should change this to something that's hyperlinked. I would even make it the holiday store, to be honest with you. Link it to the holiday store. So you have 3 different places here that are giving people access to the holiday store to hit this, which is the offer they want you to do. $65 for a 6-pack, right? They want you to, this is their gifting bundle that they want you to buy. Make it as easy as possible to have it in 3 places that everyone will see right when they drop into this page. Really like this. Love that they've done this. I'm a big proponent of focusing on use cases rather than just products, because you want to sit in your customer's shoes. That's a big one there. And then have real clarity in your image, especially when you're running paid traffic to it. You want to have clarity in your image and your copy. So they're focusing on the holiday store. And it's interesting. I almost would say holiday store, like, what is the bundle? Like, what is the product that they're actually trying to sell the most? Is it just this bundle of these 3 things? Again, I don't know specifically, but they'll have an understanding of that, and they'll be able to test different images. What do you think of that? How do you think of that? Does that help you whatsoever? Because I'm going to scroll down this page a little bit, and then we can talk about it before we can talk a little bit more about how.
I mean, the one question I have here that you mentioned, actually, there's 2 things real quick. First off, just so that I understand this hero image, part of the value of it is the extreme heavy contrast. And it is a product shot, but the white text over the black background seems extraordinarily intentional, because I don't have to read it. I saw the ad. I know what to expect. I'm going to see this and subconsciously acknowledge that exists. And immediately I'm drawn to the right-hand side, product stuff. Or I'm scrolling right away. But like, that contrast is real important. I think
Yeah.
As somebody that's building a site, the action item here, or the interesting part here that I'm curious about is the nav at the top.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
have the who we are, we have the rewards, we have the login, the shop all deodorant, cleanser, and holiday store. Is like that too many buttons? Is that too few buttons? Is there an optimal piece here? Because it feels like what I'm getting is they have two hero products and an offer, or you can
Yeah.
shop. They have two hero products, or like this like holiday bundle,
Yeah.
and anything else they give me, they are devaluing the rest of the catalog. But also
Mm.
that means that I'm not getting offer. I'm not getting decision fatigue. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? At least that's what I'm thinking about.
100%. I think it's really balancing and understanding your customer. Like a lot of CRO in my rank move up the royal line has been a lot about understanding customers. And so there's a lot of data that goes into that. So quant that goes into that. There's a lot of qualitative feedback, i.e. reading reviews, having customer interviews, doing like sending out surveys, whether there's no commerce or you send them a Google or a Typeform. What I would suspect is they have run a bunch of cohort analyses around what are their best
Mm.
repeat purchase products versus one-off purchases. And deodorant and solid cleanser are those things. And so they want to have as much visibility towards that on the homepage. And they know that they can be an entree into cross-selling and upselling on other things, but the reverse is not true. And so they have all of the other products. Yeah, we have them. We know that they can increase AOV, but they don't have a branching factor like the other ones have. And they don't have as quick of a repeat rate because they're not as quickly replenishable. So like it's essentially like a cash turnover game, which is we can get a higher AOV that we can build into because we know this product is an entree into this product, but we know that they're going to like a customer is going to replenish this product on a monthly or bi-monthly basis so that we can forecast in a really meaningful way what the purchase cycles and LTV on a 12-month are going to be from every single customer we acquire. That would be my hypothesis around why it's done this way. And I don't think it's too much. I think if you take holiday store out, it's three things. And fourth, it's still not too much decision fatigue because it's okay. I just want to check all the products. Okay, do I just want deodorant, solid cleanser, or do I want to check out their offer? And I'm sure they're running traffic. We could go into their ad library and check this out, but I'm sure they're running traffic directly to their holiday store as well. Yeah, it's a really great question. Navigation is such an interesting one. If I had this plugged into heatmap.com, what I would do is I would just look at this and say what has the highest revenue per session. And obviously, like the cart and when you're in mobile, the navigation for this has the most. What I would suspect is if you're looking at repeat purchasers, deodorant has the most. And if you're looking at first time users, it's probably going to be Shop All. But if you look here, even in Shop All, they have interesting. They have body. So let's go into body just for a second, just for shits and giggles. So this is super interesting. They have all these bundles and then they have this. It's cheaper. That's why they're doing it $14.50 versus $27. They're trying to sell you the bundles. But it's interesting that the antibacterial wipes are the first thing there. There has to be some sort of information because this is not how I would think this collections page would be set up, or this category page would be set up. So how we would do it at heatmap.com is you just measure all of these tombstones to see what has the highest revenue per session, which is essentially just revenue divided by total revenue, or revenue on element, divided by total sessions. So let's just say it was $1,000 on this one divided by 1,000 sessions would be like $1 a session kind of thing. So we're trying to essentially just order them by what gets the most revenue per session. So it'd be interesting to see what the actual data behind this is. But I would focus on hero products. So let's just go in here. Now we're going down the path. So they're trying to get you into a toiletry bag. Interesting. Versus saying, hey, so what I'd be interested in is I just clicked this one, right? Why in the upsell was it not, hey, for an extra $12 you can get or $13 you can get these two things included, just make the bundle? That would be my entry point into the entire thing, but I could be wrong. So the things I like about that site is very clear what they're trying to accomplish. They want you to shop in the holiday store, which has bundles that are very good for them at this time of year. You understand what they do, what they sell, etc. They've given you a couple points to interact with that. I really like their navigation bar where they're focused on like the use cases around their products rather than just, hey, here is deodorant. For instance, What I would like them to do is in their announcement bar, I would like them to have something hyperlinked and actually just focus on the holiday bundle, because free shipping is table stakes. I think that
Yeah,
doesn't move the needle like it did 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
sure.
It's just table stakes because of Amazon Prime. And yeah, that's what I would do. So TLDR, make sure your a message for your copy in your headline plus your hero image are very concise. I really like you called out the white text on a dark background. Hexclad does a really great job of this as well. And I would just make sure that if you're going for holiday bundles, you make sure that you have a couple different touch points within that first place where people are going to get 100% of viewership before they start scrolling. And then I wouldn't have a pop-up after 3 seconds, but I do the fact that they had it persistently sitting there. So when their people are ready, the offer is ready for them as well.
Yeah, I love all that. I had one question, that's something that jumped out at me, and I'd love to
Yeah.
get your feedback on it, and then we can take us from here. It's just, I didn't see like a feedback or like reviews or like anything that said like, how do other people respond to this? That wasn't apparent in the site. And I'm wondering, I see plenty of sites that don't say that. They might say like 10,000 5-star reviews, or they have nothing. And my point to that is, at what point do you think we need them? And is it necessarily like decisions made where they just don't have them? Or is that, I'll put that on the actual product page, but I don't want that to cloud the scrolling through the website type stuff?
Yeah, transparently, we didn't scroll down enough on this one, but when you scroll past the headline above the fold, each product has a little star in the right corner of that, and it will give you the rating, so you can see that. But they're not essentially going with the kind of big time social proof where they have logos and then they'll have the review cards, etc. What they do is they do go for also the reviews, or like the from Refinery 29 Men's Health and Good down. Let's see, how many buckets is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buckets down. And generally I'm a big, hey, have it at the third. It's like the third thing down or above, just so that people get to know that like they can trust you. I don't say it's an aesthetic choice by them. It's more of I don't think they have the data to support that it should be moved up. And so this is how they're structuring everything. But I think having it essentially hero image, reviews, product is a great standard way to do it. Just so that you're saying, hey, we got these products, shop all, you want to keep scrolling. Oh, here's social proof. Oh, here's products, is how I would structure that. So yes, and they have it on the product page. One thing I saw that they did, which was super interesting, is on some of the products, they'll have a one-liner from a review under the product. I like it in theory. It looked clunky in the actual, like the way that they did it within the UI, but I think it's an interesting way to say, okay, you're on the category page. Let's see if we can just layer some social proof in from there. But yeah, I would have moved it up the page and made it more prominent.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of looking at it, and I like that like flow. And maybe next week we can find examples of that stuff too, because I think that's something where I either see people wildly over-index, where it's just all the reviews in the world, and then they're not even cohesive, or they don't include them at all. And I think there's appropriate decision making that needs to go into when you're using them and when you're not using them, and where they 100%. Should be, because also like, is the review the reason people are buying or not? I think is also an extraordinary point when it comes to conversion rate, because if it's a review like that also opens up the opportunity for stuff of like, if the ad's great and somebody wants to buy, am I overcoming an objection, or am I installing another like speed bump that somebody has to overcome?
Yeah. 100%. I think, like you said, we'll do another website next week and we'll have something. I'll pick something that has a little more, leans into this a little more. A lot of times what you find is these things that you say, okay, logically, this should be like this, are made by design decisions rather than revenue impact decisions. And sometimes design needs to have a little bit more say in a situation, but mainly the site is meant to make money. And so what we need to do is say, okay, how does design and revenue creation work together in harmony? One of those ways is, what are the things that drive conversion velocity? So you got to understand your customers, ask them questions like, what made you buy? What was your reason to buy? If they say amazing reviews, which by the way, that happens often, then that's something that you need to upweight, but you need to ask questions and delve into that quant data as well to be able to understand it.
No, that totally makes sense, man. I appreciate it. And that is, and I'm now going to be breaking into all of my stuff for some holidays things and see what we can do. And I'll bet you that holiday button
Let's
was a
go.
Black Friday button like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
yeah. And it could literally be the same thing. It's just a different hero image and you change the copy. Done. And I think people don't need to overthink it too much.
100%. I think don't overthink it. This is all things, right? This is not a first order problem like Steve Jobs would say, where it's irreversible. It's a very kind of type 2 problem where it's like, all right, make a change, it doesn't work, well, just flip it back to the thing that was working or do something else. It's very easily, you have a very quick iteration cycle on this.
Yeah.
You can ship stuff really fast. So don't get bogged down too much in, oh, these are closed doors behind us.
Yeah. No,
it's not a manufacturing issue where it's going to take you 6 months to fix.
Yeah. You don't have to go to the warehouse and unpack a whole bunch of things or whatever. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I next week, dude, and thank you. And this is rad, man. Appreciate your time. I learned a lot here, and I'm terrible at this stuff. So I'm really looking forward to learning more. All right, dude. I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely, man. I'm a little better, but still terrible. So let's see if we get any value from people out of this one.
I like it. Sounds good. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Cheers, brother.